Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Madness in London. At least I think that's what this game is called. Question mark. This evening's scene will be taking place in the Bonneman Road's Etherite Chantry, where one of the new arrivals from Hong Kong is currently, I believe the phrase was, fidgeting with an Omni tool, and we will join them as they fidget.
Fidget, adjusting, making adjustments for new spheres gained over time since she made it.
Okay. What kind of, where are you doing this, physically? Just make up a room.
Living room, probably sitting on the floor at like a coffee table.
Okay. You will hear the kind of you'll hear kind of a clicking and a hissing noise from behind you. Kind of like a noise.
She will look to see what the pressure release was.
For the record, it was this character's respirator as Xavier is kind of looking down with his head cocked to one side, observing your work. A most interesting design.
Yeah, I like it.
You were one of the newly arrived from Hong Kong, yes?
Yeah, we got here like a month ago. I think I don't know. Been focused on just keeping busy, so I haven't really like paid attention to the passage of time.
Xavier will very stiffly seat himself in a chair, kind of, one of the chairs that is surrounding the coffee table, and he'll say, "Ah, time is of course a relative thing. Temporal mechanics.
Exactly.
Where are my manners? My name is Professor Xavier Rathholm. A pleasure to make your acquaintance."
Alice Underhill?
He contemplates, and he says, "I don't know you. Well, rather, I have not read anything that you've presented to the society, so may I assume that you're new?"
Oh yeah, I've only been at this 4 months, 5 months, 4 months, in the 4 to 5 month range because I think it was July when I woke up. Awakened? Was it
I
really an
see.
awakening though?
We prefer to call it when you achieved enlightenment.
Enlightenment. I like that.
He nods and he says, "Yes, many of our fellows in the tradition still harbor their antiquated notions of awakening to a higher self. We merely understand it as coming to be enlightened by the cosmosyncratic nature of the universe."
She's just nodding in agreement.
He will say, "So, have you chosen your dedicated field of study?"
Robotics?
How very interesting. I consider myself to be a rather dab hand at proto and sorry, thank you very much. Cough. I consider myself to be a rather dab hand at my personal area of expertise, which is biosynthetic organistic relations, or cybernetics, as the case may be.
Cybernetics are fun. Yeah, see, I
Indeed.
don't limit myself to robotics that are just simply fused with flesh, but that's my own preference.
He'll nod and he'll say, "One understands this. I find that it is best to not limit oneself, but then again, you will, of course, as a member of the society, be expected to publish your own work, but I have no doubt that you already knew this."
I've been publishing my own work for a few years now.
In the
I think
field of
that's why I got, yeah, it's probably why I got picked up by them in the first place.
by whom?
Uh, she will name the company, I don't remember now, out of character, that she used to work for that was like the technocracy's company.
Ah, I see. Indeed, whenever it comes to the enlightenment of a pseudo-scientific individual, the society are always rather in a race against time against the technocracy. I'm pleased to find that we managed to apprehend you and convince you to join us before they did.
Oh, they were having me sign paperwork to move me to a new facility when I was kidnapped slash rescued.
Ah, I see. As I have said, I'm very grateful that we managed to corner the market on, yes, I'm using corner the market on Miss Underwood, as it were. You can hear the kind of chuckle behind the breath mask. So,
So, is the breath mask necessary because of things you've done to yourself, or is it from accidents, or is it to reconcile injuries caused beforehand?
you can see he contemplates that, and he says, it was due to the circumstances of my awakening or enlightenment. When I myself was enlightened, it was under circumstances that, unfortunately, for the record, I will point out, like you see the kind of the very touches of the necrotized flesh that's just under the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The rest, and you obviously you can definitely with the. I assume you have technology out the yin yang like all of
Oh
us.
yeah.
So yeah, his eyes are very clearly cybernetic. They have that veil. They have that kind of vague glow to them.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say, due to the nature of my awakening, I was left badly damaged, and unfortunately, the damage rewrote my pattern so that the damage could not be regenerated via normal means. And thus it was that the replacements that you see were necessary for my continued survival.
So do you eat through a tube, or do you have access to a mouth-like organ?
You can tell that you may have like he might be slightly uncomfortable with this line of questioning, but he'll say, to consume liquids, I tend to inhale them via vapor and then reconstitute them as liquid in my throat. To consume food, I do have the ability to do so via my own mouth. However, due to the, he contemplates his next words, residual scarring under the mask, I find that it is unpleasant for most people to look at.
Hmm. Okay.
But yes, my apologies if I may have seemed a touch temperamental. They were very unpleasant circumstances.
Oh, I bet.
Yes, I was not. You know that the have has the chair made you, for the record when he says that the chair, of course, means the archmage. Has the chair informed you that we also operate a small coffee shop here in Croydon called the Steamwork Cafe?
You have a coffee shop? No, no, they didn't. Oh, coffee shop.
My mentor has been rather decidedly busy of late, so it is understandable that she may have not had time to tell you what she perhaps should have. You kind of hear the clicking as he adjusts something in the breathalyzer in his mouthpiece. But yes, we do operate a mage-friendly pseudo sanctum in the coffee shop that we use for meetings with members of the other traditions. I feel as though you
Good,
should probably be made aware of this.
good to know.
He'll nod. As you were never formally initiated, well, were you formally initiated into the order or into the society?
I have not been through any formal initiation based on any formal, actually, conversations about being a member. Um, but I think I was close to being initiated when all the stuff went down.
He nods, and he says, "Ah, yes, I quite understand. If one may ask, what level of advancement have you reached in your enlightenment?"
Um, I'd say probably only around the level 2.
He'll nod, and he'll say, "I see. In that case, I'm trying to remember what the fucking ranks are in the Society of Ether because they have them. Crap. Think rank 2 is a doctor. Think. Anyway, if not, I will correct myself at some point. He will say, "I see. In that case, you would be considered a doctor amongst the Society of Ether. We have our own rankings." Hmm?
I could be considered a doctor by definition outside of it, too. Double PhD.
He'll nod, and he'll say, "I quite understand. Yes, no, we have our own internal system based upon your levels and achievements of societal ranking and your stage of enlightenment, as it were, and what it is you can do best for the society, etc. So I am a professor, which is slightly above a doctor. So if you ever require anything of any note, you need only ask, and I will see to attempting to provide it for you."
Wonderful.
He'll nod. Let me think. Will you be requiring an independent workspace from the Chantry, or are you happy enough to stay here for what it is you require?
For the time being, I can generally stay here. Um, there are a few things that I'm hoping to work on that may be larger than the space provides space for.
He'll nod and he'll say, "I see. Let me think for a moment." You see him pull out his phone and flick through it for a few moments, pressing buttons. For the record, as you see his hand work, you'll notice that his hand isn't made of metal, but there's definitely like a metal exoskeleton on it
Mm-hmm.
that you can probably guess is basically there to, help him with motor dexterity.
Okay.
He'll tap on it and he'll say, "I can offer you space if you require it. Define larger projects."
Um, Aircraft.
Ah, I see. Interesting. Myself and my own cabal were just about to embark on the building of a zeppelin.
Yeah, I wouldn't build a Zeppelin myself.
We wanted to go with more of the past aesthetic, but incorporate ethernautic science into the design, of course.
That could definitely be interesting.
He'll look down and he'll say, my cabal's workspace is located in the tube system under Croydon, in a disused now tube station at Promontory Point, where we have hollowed out a rather substantial workspace. If you're interested, I'm more than happy to allocate you some space there should you require it for larger projects.
I will let you know when I'm ready for such projects.
Excellent.
Thank you.
He'll shrug and he'll say, "We are all members of the same society. We are here to help one another."
It doesn't mean standard politeness shouldn't be acknowledged and between each other.
I beg your pardon, I didn't hear what you said.
She said that that doesn't mean that common courtesy should be forgotten.
He'll nod and he'll say, "Oh yes, quite so. Unfortunately, hmm, from what I've seen of some of our fellow magi, or from our fellow enlightened individuals, they have clearly forgotten the nature of the term manners. It's rather disappointing, really." To quote one of our august members of the Order of Hermes last night, when he looked at me and said, How on earth do you walk around in public without people being, I believe the phrase was, freaked out? That was an interesting conversation. Charming people.
Aren't they?
Yes, but as I have said, you have decided to join the society, which means you are one of us, which means we will always work with our own due diligence to protect and enable you towards achievement of your scientific goals. That is the nature of the society. Also, the chair has made it abundantly clear that she wishes those who arrive from Hong Kong to be helped in whatever method and methodology we have to provide aid to you.
Well, that's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
I was led to understand, he says as he cocks his head to the side, that the Technocratic Union were able to create a singularity that not only suspended Hong Kong itself almost out of space-time, but also had a demolecularization field that was specifically keyed to supernatural tendencies, bloodlines, other bric-a-brac, as it were, for them to completely lock the city down. Is that indeed correct?
Yes, it was.
I don't suppose you happen to take readings of it.
Um, I have some readings. Uh, I was never in close physical proximity, so I only have readings from a distance, satellite readings. Almost got into their satellite system when I first awakened. Didn't quite go right, but
They tend to be rather discourteous when it comes to individuals attempting to hack into their servers. I should know from personal experience.
yeah, I had
But
to ditch that tablet. It sucked. Made me sad.
do you require a new tablet?
Oh no, I made a new one the next day.
Ah, I see. But as I was saying, when it all boils down, I would be very interested in any even preliminary readings that you may have from the what we are now referring to as the Hong Kong singularity.
Sure thing.
Wonderful. Have you been granted access to Mr. Smith?
Which one's Mr. Smith?
He's the AI who runs this facility.
I don't think I've talked to him yet.
I see. I will speak to the chair and attempt to get you guest rights to interface and converse with Mr. Smith so that he may provide you with what it is you require for your own studies, etc., if that is amenable to.
Definitely. Fine.
He'll nod. Very good. Very good. Now then, my apologies. I've asked you so many questions. Is there anything that you would like to know about the Order, about the Society, about London, about anything really in particular?
She looks up at him, contemplating. Did you do the implants yourself, or did somebody else do them for you?
He blinks again. He says, "The eyes were provided for me via the chairman, the chair. After all, I lost the use of my own eyes when I awoke at the age of 14. So they were done by her. The rest of my augmentation was done by myself."
She looks to be like mentally processing the. She's not like making any. She doesn't look like she's making any judgments. She just looks like she's mentally processing information.
Mm-hmm. He will actually reach up and press something on his temple, and you will actually see he will put his hand up to the eye, in which case it will fall forward. Not like disgustingly, but it will like disengage from its socket, and he'll hold it out to you in case you want to see it.
Oh, she will gladly take it and look at it, examine it.
I was going to say it's made by an archmage, so it is that level of sophisticated coolness.
This is amazing.
It includes several packages, for example, infrared, spiritual sight, the ability to perceive primal and quantific essences. It also incorporates a computer that is interfaced directly to my brain, which is rather helpful.
Yes, it would be. The microcircuitry in this is immaculate.
As I've said, it was done by the chair. She's rather excellent at her work, though cybernetics is not her main forte.
I will definitely be thinking on this kind of work.
When she returns from her, he contemplates his next words. Excursion. I would be more than happy to introduce you to her properly. I have no doubt you met when you stepped through from Hong Kong, but I have no doubt that you may wish to have a proper communique with her, as it were.
She'll nod.
He'll hold out
Yeah,
his hand for his eye.
Oh, she'll hand it back.
He'll pop it
Yeah,
back.
when we arrived, it was we just gotten done fighting our way across the city to get to the Akashic Temple, who had a portal set up from there to here, and so there were so many of those stupid guys in suits, like
yes.
the big suits. It was annoying more than anything.
Yes, I've always found the technocratic design for their hard suits to be, he contemplates, aesthetically unpleasing. My own design for my own battle armor is far superior.
And it's just inefficient.
Yes. But then again, I suppose that they have access to so much primal energy that they're able to power devices and be not necessarily as frugal, so they are wasteful inherently.
Yes, but with all that wasted energy and space and usage, you could actually make them even better.
He nods. Undoubtedly so. I was led to understand that they managed to in-face, from what I was told, their Myrmidon suits into the general consensus, which is quite impressive.
She just kind of nods.
As I've said. But yes, the chair is currently investigating he stops mid-sentence, kind of, you see his eyes kind of half shut as he contemplates his next words. Temporal anomaly that took place here a number of days ago. Rather unpleasant situation may have occurred. I beg your pardon?
Temporal anomaly? When? I must have missed that.
Yes. He once again half shutters his eyes, and he says he'll give the exact date and the exact time of the anomaly. In character, it was a few days ago, but Evan can't remember the exact times, etc. And he'll say, there appeared to be a large scale, and when I say large scale, I mean the entirety of the city of London, temporal, well, what we would refer to as temporal scan, but what the traditions are referring to as temporal corresponditic effect, to look over London from some point in the future.
Hmm.
At the same time, there was a large-scale rerouting of power in the tube line somewhere underneath central London. that produced a massive pooling of energy. So we can only assume that this energy was then used to some nefarious end, and that is what the chair is currently investigating.
Hmm. She starts bringing up maps of the city and the tube systems,
You,
overlaying them, mapping where, like, as old of a tube systems as she can get so that she can see ones that aren't necessarily considered useful anymore and therefore not put on maps.
he'll say, you consider yourself to be a fairly apt coder and computer infiltration specialist from your own admission, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Then you'll be interested to know when I attempted to access the public service data for the security camera system there wherein the excuse me wherein this large affecture of power took place. The fact is it had been removed so completely as to leave virtually no trace of the files even ever having existed. Then my computer was reverse spiked from whatever it was that had removed the information, and the computer itself had to be demolecularized via the use of data and thrown into the Thames.
Yeah, I was just going to use Google.
He blinks. Ah, of course.
So that it's far more difficult to track the actual information recovery since people can scan across large areas with it. And with 1056 information, 1026 information, is it 26 or 52? I think it's 52. No, 520, no, 1024, sorry. With 1024 encryption, they actually have to work quite a bit to backtrace anything to me. Like, they really have to try.
He'll nod and he'll say, I quite understand. A number of us will be going into the tube system in order to see if there are any particulates and or objets d'art that have been left at the site of the supposed incident, if you're interested in accompanying us.
Oh, yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
I see. In that case, as I have said, if there's anything you require to see to your own safety, please do let me know.
I definitely will.
I think that the Hermetics are entirely in the belief that, well, that they're immortal. It's rather an interesting falsehood of their belief system. Amusing. My apologies. My mind wandering. He'll stand
All
up.
right.
I beg your pardon?
She said, it's all right.
He'll stand up and he'll say, if you require any, how to phrase, if you wish to be socialized, if you wish to be social with the other magi or enlightened individuals or pseudoscientists in the city, may I have your phone for a moment?
Sure. And she will hand him a phone.
Okay. He's just going to type in the postcode for the coffee shop as well as his own as well as his own phone number, and say, "Should you require anything, I'm always at your service."
Thank you very much.
And there's a nod. "Is there anything you require of me before I leave?"
Not that I can think of.
"In that case, as I said, Miss Underwood, welcome to London."
She'll smile and nod.
With that, he will very slowly kind of make his way out the door, kind of, with a clear stiffness of movement, and close the door behind him.
And she'll go back to fidgeting.
Fidget, fidget, fidget. Okay. I will call that there. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another exciting scene in London Madness. I don't know. Try not to eat anybody.